listening to another episode of the Intrepid English Podcast. My name's Kate and I'm an Intrepid English teacher. The topic of today's podcast is how to prepare for your English job interview. So, you've written a killer cover letter, fine-tuned your CV, and now you've been invited to interview. Now, perhaps the nerves are starting to set in. Many of our students come to us looking to improve their business English skills so that they can feel more confident and comfortable speaking English at work. Here are Intrepid English's top 5 tips for preparing for your English language job interview. Number 1. Research the job requirements and prepare your answers. Research the job requirements well and you can anticipate the questions you may be asked. There are some questions which are bound to pop up regardless of the job. Some of these general interview questions include: tell us a little bit about yourself. What are your strengths and best skills? What is your biggest weakness? What are your career goals and future plans? Why should we hire you? And what salary do you expect to have? Our tip is not to memorize your answers word for word. You could risk sounding robotic when you're talking. It's best to memorize small phrases or keywords that you'd like to use and insert them into your answers, rather than trying to memorize and recall whole paragraphs of pre-thought out answers. Make sure your answers are consistent with what is on your CV, as it's common for job seekers to create more than one CV, one for each type of job you may be applying for. Make sure you review the CV you have sent to the company that you're interviewing with. Also, interviewers will ask about your previous job and experiences at some point. Remember to talk positively about your experiences. Rather than complaining about a boss who made things difficult for you, focus on the skills you gained from working in a challenging environment. Tip number 2. Prepare your interview space. This depends if the interview is online or in person. If it's in person, you should make sure you know how to get there. Give yourself plenty of time. The last thing you want to do is arrive late or flustered. If the interview is online, make sure you're in a place with a good internet connection and you feel comfortable with the setup of your desk and the chair. You should be able to sit up straight and you shouldn't have to be hunched over in order to talk into the computer. Test your microphone and camera beforehand so you don't get caught up having to fix any tech problems. Also, even if your interview is on Skype, it's a good idea to put some trousers on. Number 3. Show that you have a growth mindset. There is one factor that is common amongst the best employees, the growth mindset, as opposed to the fixed mindset. What is the growth mindset? It's sometimes referred to as a learning mindset, and it is the belief that a person's capacities and talents can be improved over time. People with a growth mindset show perseverance in the face of failures. They find inspiration in other people's successes, embrace challenges, and are open to constructive criticism. They're also willing to put in the work to overcome challenges and to build new skills. A growth mindset is a great buzz phrase to use at interview, whilst backing it up with real examples of how you have applied this growth mindset. It shows that you're open to new experiences and keen to grow and develop. Number 4. Make sure you have the correct body language. Adopt a power pose. It's a well-known fact that our body language says just as much about us as our spoken language. In her TED Talk on the importance of body language, Amy Cuddy mentions that in the minutes before entering a job interview, we're often sitting outside the interview room, twiddling our thumbs, when really what we should be doing is adopting power poses. You can check out the fascinating talk in the episode notes. Before your interview, stand up straight, roll your shoulders back, and take some deep breaths if you're feeling nervous. Stay away from social media and mindless scrolling, as this will only make you more anxious. And finally, tip number 5. Study the Job Interviews course in the Intrepid English Academy. The Job Interviews course has been written with the aim of getting you the job. This self-study course in the Intrepid English Academy is packed full of functional vocabulary and advice for preparing for your English job interview. The course covers how to answer common job interview questions, including behavioural questions, and the questions that you should ask the interviewer. There is also a special section with advice from the experts, including top tips on how to optimize your LinkedIn and get your profile out there. As well as regular quizzes to review your learning, Intrepid English members can book a lesson at any time to practice their answers with an Intrepid English teacher. You can find the link to the course in the episode notes. This podcast was written and recorded by me, Intrepid English teacher Kate. You can book a free trial lesson today to discuss this topic in more detail and talk about your English learning goals with an experienced and friendly English teacher. If you have any questions or you'd like to request a topic for a future podcast, you can contact us using the chat box on our website, send us an email, or even drop us a message on any of our social media channels.